Hello everyone and welcome back to another GTA Online guide, where in this video I give my thoughts and opinions about all of the GTA Online LS Tuners release cars in terms of how well they perform when it comes to drifting and going sideways. So a lot of the LS Tuners DLC consists of fun. Just straight up simple fun, with some extra business opportunities thrown in there too. But we're talking specifically about the cars themselves and how well they can slip and slide around the concrete haven. Now before we get to that, I gotta say, the addition of this area in the game, I love it. It's a place where you can fool around without worry of being orb-striked and oppressed by flying twats who wear helmets and wear obnoxious face paint. It's great. Now I've taken quite a bit of time to get to the point where I feel comfortable to give my thoughts and opinions about all of the cars, since there's actually a pretty substantial amount, but also because there's more than one way that you can drive these cars. More on that in a short while. I have hours of footage, some cool clips, a lot of test results, so let's get right into it. So to begin, I'm going to quickly organise all of the cars from a 0 to hero list. You ready? Boom! Yeah, all of the cars are well suited for what Rockstar designed them for, which honestly I feel kind of weird saying that, but yeah, all of the cars are driftable to a great extent, except for the Calico here. The Calico is, well, how do I put it? The Calico is a pretty bad drift car for the same reason why it's so good otherwise. It's four-wheel drive. No matter what tyres you put on it or what stance you put it in, the Calico's four-wheel drive forces the driver to pretty much throw the car into every corner and just power their way through the bend, which isn't very elegant, and it's not very comfortable, and it's most importantly, it doesn't really feel too good. Also, I would imagine most people would argue that anything that the Calico can do wouldn't really be considered drifting, more power sliding, and I put myself in that band. Now you might be asking, what does stancing have to do with anything? Well, here's what stancing does. It lowers the car and reduces the available grip to the wheels. That's it. So alongside changing out the tyres for normal to low grip, you also have the choice of default and low stance, making each car in this DLC drivable with 4 levels of grip. High stance normal tyres are great for normal driving and racing, whereas low stance and low grip tyres will be more like racing on ice. For ease of explanation down the line, I'm just going to rate the optimal grip level for drifting from 1 to 4, 1 being the most grip required, 4 being the least grip required. Got it? Pretty much all of the cars up here in the driftometer will offer pretty much the same experience, so if you happen to be a fan of one of these cars and want to drive that for both pleasure and performance, I would urge you to just use that car regardless of what I think in this video, because with enough practice, the different quirks and minor differences that every car here will have will be negated by one's ability to drift. However, through trying them all, playing around with them for a long while, there are some things I have to remark about. There's nothing bad, just things that might prove interesting. Now, judging a car by how well it drifts can be a bit tricky. Do I rate something better than another thing because it's easier to drift, or do I rate it higher if it's able to pull off the most impressive drifts under the same driver? Well, for this list I decided to consider everything. From the left we have the cars that are great to drift, but I found them a bit finicky at times to do what I wanted, and they would often spin out or didn't get the right angle. But this finickiness is so small, it's not really worth bashing the cars because of them. They do require the grip level to be at least level 3 to be able to drift, level 4 to really have fun sliding at the expense of being able to get good momentum run-ups on long straights, but it's not really that big of an issue with these cars. So here, where most of the cars reside, a grip level of 2 or higher will yield great results from what I felt, particularly the RT3000. This thing I found to be a great practical driver for those who want to use it as a runaround, as well as a drifter. Because you see, changing tyres to allow cars to drift can be a bit of a pain because you have to take it to the parking lot to get them changed, but stancing of the cars can be done at any time. On most cars, stancing alone won't really be enough to enable them to drift well. which isn't the case with the RT3000. With normal tyres, normal stance, which is level 1, the car is a decently performing car that'll get you where you need to be nice and quick. But if you change it to level 2 grip, which is lower in the stance, this makes the car very slidey indeed. You don't need to change out the tyres for low grip to do some good drifting in the RT3000, so a grip loss level of 2 I would recommend for this car. The same is also true for the ZR350. Both of these cars are great for dual use, only requiring a grip loss level of 2 to drift properly. The rest of the cars in this category, while requiring a grip loss level of 3 or 4 to drift properly, are relatively easier to get sideways than these two, which is why they're a bit higher up on the list. And with that, we make our way to the top tier. I gotta say, for cars that I honestly don't really like the look of, they at least give a great feeling drift experience. I don't know, something about them just allows me to go along the perfect lines. I'm not really sure what it is. The grip loss levels of 3 and 4 don't feel too much different, but anything more grippier than that and they struggle to drift properly. During recording, drifting, and hanging out with friends, I ended up spending time longer than I would have liked with certain cars, and these two particular cars, I ended up taking up quite a lot of time. They were eating up my hard disk drive space as I mindlessly record myself just driving around, but it's worth it because these two things were genuinely fun to just slide around despite me not really liking the aesthetics of the cars that much. So that's the current standings of how well the cars drift around out of the cars that, as of this video, are currently available. Future cars that will come out of the drip feed will be slowly added to this list as time progresses. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this short video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later, folks.
What's wrong with you now?